What's up guys, and welcome to the 27th tutorial of my PHP backend. So in this tutorial I'm going to continue with the responses, and what I want to do is I want to replace the current response that we have so it uses the response interface from the PSR instead. So if we have a look at how it works now, we have this function called response, which comes from the base class called controller. So this function right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and call it respond. And this is obviously not a good naming convention, but we're going to refactor the old one out later. So in here we're going to take a response interface like this, and we want the exact same output as before. So we need to do some stuff in here. So we're going to need to set the response code. We can do that by getting the status code, is called, from the PSR. And also we're going to remove the JSON encode in here, and instead we're going to echo out the response and then get body like this. So this is actually fine for now, this implementation right here. And in the controller we're going to replace it with respond. And in here we're going to give it the response. And we need to set the status code. So that's with status. We're going to give it a status of 200. And also we got to give it a body. So with body, we're going to use the colors that get returned from the database. So colors. So this is basically what we're going to do. But if we run this now, it won't work because the with body function, it expects a stream interface. And currently we're just giving it an array. So we need to address that. And the way to do it is to create a stream. And we can't just create any stream. You got to be a PSR stream interface. And that's where guzzle comes in. So you can have a look at the documentation here from Packagized. And we want to use this function called stream4 from the PSR7 part of it. So in here, I'm going to give it PSR stream4. I'm going to give it colors like this, and it doesn't know what it is because we also need to include this. You could of course use the fully qualified name if you like this. And now let me just indent this so it's a little bit clear what's going on. Of course, remove the semicolon, and let's see, is all the braces correct? No, it's not. All right, so like this. If we run this now, it's still not going to work because it doesn't like that I give it an array. It needs to be something that it can use for a stream. So for example, a string. So what we can do is we can JSON encode this so it becomes a string. And now we should actually get some proper output. And we do. So you can see now we're back to the original output. And of course this is a little bit messy with all the parentheses, and it really feels like we have all these functions, but we can always abstract away some of these. So the first one that I'm going to abstract away is this part right here, where we take some arbitrary PHP array and turn it into a stream. So I'm going to cut this out. Actually, I missed the parentheses, I think. So like this. And I'm going to go into the controller. And in here, I'm going to create a new protected function. And I'm going to call it get as stream. And this function is going to take a object. So, or it could be an array, of course. I'm going to call it body. And we're going to do the exact same thing here and just return it. It doesn't know what it is, so we're going to use this use statement at the top right here. And now it knows what it is. It doesn't know what colors is, so we got to use the body instead. and a semicolon, like this. So now we're going to use this function instead in here. Get a stream colors. It got a little bit shorter, but we might want to abstract away even more in the future. But this is fine for now. And another thing that we gained from this implementation is that you can see here my IDE also gives me a suggestion that this package is not used anymore. And this is a really good thing because while we go ahead and build our application, we're gonna get more and more controllers. And if each of these controllers is gonna use the guzzle package, we're gonna build up this really big dependency on how we implement the PSR, which is not a good thing, because if we want to change the PSR implementation in the future, for example, the way we want to make our own implementations with the stuff that I showed you previously, we're going to have all these dependencies lying around in the whole application, which is going to be a pain in the A to get rid of. So now we made a little bit more cleaner cut to the guzzle. Of course, you cannot guard yourself 100% against this, but you're going to make it as isolated as you can. So now, if the PSR implementation should change, we only need to change it in 2 places for now, and it's in the controller right here, and it's also in the index file right here where we create the request and response. And you could of course use dependency injection for all of these dependencies. So the next thing we need to do is of course do the exact same thing for the other route. And it should be pretty straightforward. If I just copy this right here and paste it in here, should be the exact same thing. And we can just do like this, and then we paste color in there instead. And we could try it out. So let's give it color 1. Oops, it doesn't know what get as stream is. Line 27. All right, I need to give it this. All right, so there we go. So now it works, and I hope you guys liked it, and I see you on the next tutorial.